At noon, focused on you.
She came to office with the stated intention of reducing incarceration. She did that by simply not doing her job.
New information today from a state investigation into former St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Thanks for being here at noon. I'm Kay Quinn. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey released a 62-page report last night after completing an investigation into the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's office. He says the evidence against former Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner is overwhelming. The report says Gardner failed to prosecute violent crime in the city for several years. It finds her office dismissed about 25,000 pending cases. Judges dismissed more than 2,700 cases for failure to prosecute, and her administration routinely violated the Crime Victims' Right Act, making decisions on cases without notifying victims.
Bottom line, what did you find?
The internal workings of the office were completely dysfunctional. That her absence, her misdirection, her attack on her own staff had caused a decay in morale and operations to the point that the criminal justice system just wasn't functioning anymore.
The report includes interviews with judges, employees, police, crime victims, and city leaders. Bailey made several recommendations to state lawmakers. They include extending the Victims' Rights Act to post-conviction proceedings and prohibiting elected officials from seeking office if they resign following an attorney general's lawsuit to remove them from office. 5 on Your Side contacted Gardner last night and again this morning for a response. We are still waiting to hear back. We've also requested copies of the evidence in Bailey's case. You can see the full report on KSDK.com. Look in the As Seen on TV section. Happening right now, members of the United Auto Workers Union in Wentzville are voting on a tentative contract with General Motors. The proposal includes 25% wage increases and the restoration of cost of living adjustments. If the deal is not ratified by union members, they could send the proposals back to GM for renegotiation. A push to keep immigrants out of St. Charles County is on hold. The County Council tabled a resolution during last night's meeting. 5 on Your Side's Mercedes McKay has more on the last-minute move.
The St. Charles County Council was supposed to vote on this controversial immigration bill last night, but one of the bill's sponsors pulled it off the table at the very last second. St. Charles County Councilman Joe Brazil made that call because 2 of the bill's sponsors weren't at the meeting last night, and the others on the council don't support the bill in its current form. Resolution 2308 says, quote, the St. Charles County Council strongly opposes the importation of illegal immigrants into the region. It points directly to a federal program allowing people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to come to the United States.
On this particular parole program, the Attorney General of Missouri filed a lawsuit on this particular program along with 19 other states. So there's 20 lawsuits going on right now with this particular program.
Earlier parts of the legislation specifically call out the International Institute's new program. The Institute's CEO says the program only supports immigrants and refugees who come here legally.
Our mission is to create opportunities for immigrants and refugees to thrive in order to create a more welcoming, more prosperous and healthy region for all. 5 on Your Side also spoke to the chairman of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who tells us that he believes the bill's sponsors don't actually understand what they're trying to do and that adding immigrants to our community is a huge benefit. Councilman Brazil tells us that he will reintroduce this legislation when more members are present. In St. Charles County, Mercedes McKay, 5 on Your Side.
We are still waiting for police in Clayton to release more information about a homicide. The major case squad is looking for the person who shot a man on Wydown yesterday morning. No other details are being released about the victim or the events leading up to the crime. It's the first murder in that community since 2006.
All right, turning our attention to the weather. Wow, what a beautiful day again. Started out very chilly. You know, the dry air in place gives us those cold mornings and then those beautiful afternoons. We're going to see this again today and into tomorrow, and maybe a little bit more cloud cover Thursday, but still a warm afternoon. So it's sunny everywhere. You go further south, Perryville, Farmington, Centerville, we're in the low 60s there, but a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. No moisture anywhere near our viewing area. 26% on that relative humidity, 64 degrees right now, and a south wind at about 8 miles an hour. So high pressure sliding on to the east, a little bit of cloud cover down there in southeast Missouri. And of course, zooming in, you can see that cloud cover in our southern counties. So that is the only issue here today. A little less sunshine south and east of St. Louis, and then that rain stays around the Gulf Coast. All right, so today's high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. We're going to be beautiful, but much cooler by the end of the week, and maybe a rain chance, Kay?
Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Jim. New calls today to evacuate a hospital beset by war. Palestinian authorities are proposing a Red Cross supervised evacuation. Health officials say the only way to save 3 dozen newborns trapped there would be to call a ceasefire and transport them out of Gaza. After days of battles with Hamas, Israeli forces have encircled the hospital where hundreds of patients, medical staff, and displaced people have been trapped without electricity or supplies. Happening right now in Washington, a huge pro-Israel rally. Demonstrators are calling for the release of hostages and an end to anti-Semitic attacks. As NBC's Bree Jackson reports, the gathering has already been upgraded to a level 1 security event.
As the fighting between Israel and Hamas continues, tens of thousands of people are expected to gather here today for the March for Israel. Now, as you can see behind me, crowds have already started to gather, people from all across the country coming to show their support. And because of the influx, we are seeing a beefed up security presence. Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser says that the National Guard will be assisting local police control the crowds today. And the Department of Homeland Security has upgraded this to a level 1 security event. That is the highest designation before an event like this would be considered a national special security event. Some of the speakers that we are expecting to take the stage today include lawmakers as well as relatives of people who have been taken hostage by Hamas. And the State Department's envoy for combating anti-Semitism will also address the rise of hate targeting Jewish communities that we've seen recently. The Anti-Defamation League says that they've seen anti-Semitic incidents increase anywhere between 300 to 400% in America in the weeks since the war between Israel and Hamas began. So people here are gathering to not only show their support for Israel today, but also to speak out against anti-Semitism. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Still ahead, a not-so-good sign heading into the holiday shopping season, why hiring trends have retailers worried. And when a $2 bill is worth more than $2, we break it down.